Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at the Goose Tank. The Goose Tanks. Now, the M6A2E1 EXP is an American Tier 8 premium tank. Now, when this tank was first released, I remember exactly when this first was released because I was actually on holiday. I was taking a vacation away with the family. And when we woke up in the morning, I see that these tanks were for sale. And I was just like, damn, I need to buy these tanks. And honestly, I was in the toilet. I was in the toilet a lot on the holiday trying to play this game because, of course, any person out there with a wife and kids, like, if you play the game at an unreasonable time, you're in the doghouse. So because I wanted to make footage on the tank, I wanted to get footage on the tank and get it out there as quick as possible, because back then there wasn't as many YouTubers. So my reviews actually meant something back in the day because there wasn't many people doing them. So I really wanted to get the footage out. So I was in the toilet a lot. And when I had sort of 5 minutes, I quickly made the video. These tanks were absolutely insane. Literally, people just, especially the tier 8 one, people didn't know how to deal with it. The armor profile is incredible. It really is. The turret, the front plate, it is all very, very strong. Now, as soon as you do switch to the premium realm, then obviously your upper plate does become weak. It is flat. You can see it's quite flat there. So that does become very weak. However, your turret is very, very strong. There are a couple of weak points in on the turret, so do bear that in mind. But if you're sitting there, hold down, wiggling your turret side to side, back to back, like up to down, then it does become a very, very difficult pen. Of course, it's American tank. It is an American tank, so this side, you have to make sure, with this tank especially, you have to make sure that you are facing the enemy, because if you've got your side onto the enemy or your rear, then you will be HE'd, because it's the side and the back are very, very weak. So always make sure that you are facing the enemy. Now, these tanks should be back for sale. If they're not, they will be, hopefully soon. The tier 7 one, obviously, you can get in the tech tree anyway, but Wargaming usually bring these two tanks together as part of a discount. Now, I believe you can get these tanks as little as 7.5k gold for the both of them. And if that's true, if they do come at that price, that is a bargain. That really, really is a bargain, and you should take up on that offer. The tier 7 one. So that's the tier 8 one. The tier 8 one, very strong armor profile. And to be honest, the tier 7 one is exactly the same. It doesn't have as good gun, and armor profile is not as good, but it's kind of the same, and you're a tier below. Doesn't do that. I don't think it does as high alpha. But both tanks are, I know the tier 8 one. I think it's basically a T-34 gun. I could be wrong, but I'm sure it's like a T-34 gun. So the penetration is actually really good as well. I think it's, I should have done my homework, really. I think it is one of the top in the tier for heavy tanks, along with the T-34. So the penetration really, really, really good. The tier 7 one is just as fun. And honestly, I do actually prefer the tier 7 one than the tier 8 one, because it is basically like exactly the same as the tier 8, but taking it down a tier. When you're up against tier 8 in this thing, yeah, obviously it's not going to be as strong, but when you're up against tier 6s, then this tank is really, really good. Now, you can get this tank already in the tech tree for around 5k gold, or whatever it is, 5.5k. And honestly, guys, it really is a fun tank. Now, I would go as far as to say that this tank, I wouldn't say it's the strongest heavy in tier 7. I still believe that the T29 is probably the strongest heavy in tier 7, not including the broken tanks, the Annihilator here, driven by Wednesday, a good friend of mine, good patron of mine. And unfortunately, he just made a mistake there. He didn't realize that the Annihilator was in the middle, and he does actually get obliterated and he dies. Where I actually realized the Annihilator, I've realized that he was actually the most dangerous target, and I do not want to be crossing while he has my side, because that's basically a guaranteed pen. So the Eraser is pushing onto this Annihilator, so I want to push onto him as well, bring him down to a one-shot, and hopefully the Eraser does take him out. So now it is a 5 versus 4. We only have one cap point, one cap base. The enemy has 2. So they are going to overtake us very, very soon. And of course, our Tog here is very low hit points. Now, originally, I just wanted to sit behind this Tog because he is low hit points and it's a Tog. People just seem to focus Togs. So, but then I thought, you know what, I'm full hit points. I'm going to go and push these guys because they're quick tanks. If they run away, if they get base C and then sort of run away, then they could actually easily win this game. Now, we are going to start losing. The Eraser is going to start dying, but we are going to get a couple of nice HE shots into the rear of this Leo. So there goes the Eraser. It is now a 4 versus 3, and we're just about, or we was just about to start losing supremacy points before we took that Cromwell out. Now, you can see here, I'm trying to ignore the Bis to go for the Leo because I know I can easily pen the Leo from the rear. So I really wanted to go for him, but I didn't really have the chance to. So I'm just going to go for this Bis instead. So now it's a 2 versus 1. Again, the Leo is winning on supremacy points. So if he's able to run away, we could actually struggle to win this game. But, you know, it's very close in supremacy points. So we are going to get behind him and we're going to get another nice, juicy HE shot into his rear. So you can see very good tanks when played correctly. Very good tanks. I couldn't believe that was actually just a first class. Insane. But you know what? It's still a first class. We still do a decent battle. So yeah, guys, these tanks are, in my opinion, are definitely worth buying. Especially when they come at a bundle price. If they do come for sort of 7.5k damage. What's the time? It's still got a couple of minutes. A shame I should have recorded this a few minutes later, because then I'd actually see if they are in the store. So yeah, decent tanks, very good tanks, and for the price that they may come is definitely worth it. Now, while we're on the subject of the store, this bundle here is also a very good bundle. 7.5k gold for both of these tanks. Now, I actually like the T28 HTC. It's very underrated. A lot of people don't like it, but played correctly, again, that is a brutal tank. And of course, the T34, that's an amazing tank as well. So both of them for 7.5k gold is actually a really good purchase. So, and you get crates with that as well. You get some crates with that purchase as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If it does come, then go buy them if you have spare gold, of course. You're going to get some nice tanks, nice strong tanks, but they're only strong in the right situation. Put them in the wrong situation, they do become weak. And I think the biggest downfall with these tanks are the size of the tanks. They are very big, so it is quite difficult to go hold down in the tanks, but when you do, it is absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy. I'll catch you soon. Bye bye. With